Salute to all the Patreon members, all the subscribers, all the new viewers. I want to thank you guys for your support and your contribution made to the platform. It really means a lot to me. If you guys could do me a favor, please hit the like button, share this video, check out the links in the description box below. If you want to join the Patreon page, link is in the description box below. If you want to join the Facebook page, link is in the description box below. Before we get started in today's video, I want to let you guys know that I'm still under the weather. So if I sound stuffy or my voice goes out or if I sound sick, it's because I am. All right, so let's get into it. South Korea not offering residents $38,000 for dating and marriage. I've been trying to find a thorough article on this topic right here, and I haven't been able to. So not really much in this article. But I do have some notes here. And do not take this live video for face value, because I'm going to drop something a deeper game towards the end of this video. I'm gonna just give the surface information, then I'm going to tell you what I really think is going on and what does this mean for brothers with a passport out there, and some of the talking points that I've been hearing on different platforms like Facebook. All right. So the notes that I have is South Korea is paying couples to get married and have children to address its low birth rate and demographic crisis. There is a low birth rate crisis all throughout the world, right? Different countries around the world, but more specifically Asia, right? Different countries around the world, especially heterogeneous countries, right? You have particular ethnic groups within these countries whose birth rates are in the negatives. In America, Canada, Europe, we know whose birth rates are in the negatives. All right. But homogenous countries out east, you have whole entire countries that have low negative birth rates. Japan, Korea, Taiwan, China, India, they're going through a lot of issues right now. They're begging couples to get married, have kids, buy a house, right? So this program is starting in the Saga district of Busan. Couples receive $604 each to match, $1,200 each if their families meet, and about $24,000 if they marry. They can also receive $36,000 towards a house or $960 per month in rent for 5 years. Some companies like Booyoung Group and Sangbangwoo are offering employees up to $75,000 in child bonuses. So if you work for these companies, then they might offer you up to $75,000, if you have kids. Other initiatives, South Korean government have also offered subsidized housing for newlyweds and discounted postpartum care for new mothers. There's also a baby payment of $2,250 for each newborn. All right. Now, why are these companies begging you to get married, have kids? All right. Not only is there a negative birth rate, but also it stimulates the economy. Okay. Wealth creation. Married couples, they tend to create more economic assets than singles and cohabitating couples. Okay. This is due to economies of scale, specialization, and risk sharing. Higher incomes. Married men tend to earn more than single men with similar education and job experience. Higher labor force participation. Married fathers are more likely to work 45 hours or more per week than cohabitating fathers. So if you're a married man, you're like, damn, I got 2 kids and a wife at home. I'm not going to be able to just cut it off 40 hours a week. I got to put in some overtime. and be able to work harder, make more, save more, pay off some of these bills, and be able to take care of my family. Uh, Lower child poverty. States with a higher percentage of married parents have lower child poverty rates. Higher graduation rates. States with a higher percentage of married parents have higher graduation rates. Higher economic mobility. States with a higher percentage of married parents have higher levels of economic mobility. Higher GDP. Okay. States with a higher percentage of married parents have a higher per capita GDP. More parental attention. Children raised in married families have more parental attention and affection. Less parental abuse or neglect. Children raised in married families are less likely to suffer parental abuse or neglect. And let me tell you, especially for a lot of women out there, men and women, but women that I've dated in the past, especially women who were raised in a single mother household, they experience a lot of abuse and neglect. And they bring that into a relationship with a man, and a lot of times it fails. All right. Another thing, man, is you know, families, they boost the economy. It creates debt. And the more debt that you create, the more the government makes off of your debt. All right. Um, we're not really creating as much debt as we used to. We're not going to school. We want to become YouTubers and entrepreneurs, which is nothing wrong with that. But we want to make money online. We don't want to go to school anymore. All right. We don't want to have families. We don't want to purchase homes. Why am I going to waste half my income on a home? Right. I'd rather just, if I'm a single man, I'd rather just kick it right here in this apartment complex. Or I'd rather get me an RV and live off grid or live off the fat of the land. Right. Insurance for your children, dental, life insurance. Why would I sign up for life insurance? Why? Who's going to be the beneficiary if you're a single man? Who are you going to leave your belongings, your wealth to when you pass on? You don't have a family. It's like, what's the point? Right? When you're a single man, there's a lot of things you don't purchase and you don't do if you're not married. And if you're married, there's still a lot of things that you may purchase, but you don't purchase when you're married. All right. I don't need a lawnmower or to pay for landscapers or whatever if I'm a single man. I don't need a home. HOA, property tax, I don't really need to pay none of that. Right? They're gonna get taxes out of you one way or another, but everything that comes with a home, I don't need it. And the less homes that are being filled, right? You're not really putting yourself in debt, taking out loans for your homes. People aren't really making money off of you. So that's why they're bringing in a lot of these immigrants into Canada, America. I know I'm taking it off subject a little bit when the focus should be on South Korea, right? If I'm a single man, I don't need a family vehicle. I don't need to get my wife or my kids a family vehicle. We don't need 3 vehicles. Why? Because I'm a single man. I only need one, and maybe a motorcycle, right? A lot of women, they don't want marriage either. They just want to have their kids and live alone. And what do? They have their kids live by themselves, and they go to the government for welfare and child support. And it's like, if you coming to us for welfare, the government's like, man, we're supposed to be making money off you, but you making money off us by being a single mother. And the only way we're getting money off of you is if we go after the baby daddy, because part of child support goes to the government. 100% of child support doesn't go to the mother. All right. So it's like, damn, we're not really, nobody is creating debt anymore. So how can we get people to get back on track? You know, technology, a lot of times people blaming technology for the separation of family, right? Morals and ethics, they're out the window. Modern times have changed the minds of a lot of the youth out there. You go over to China right now, nobody wants to come together as a family. Women in China, and I'm going to do another live stream talking about that, their standards and their expectations is above and beyond what the average Chinese man can meet, right? Really, the person who has all the options are the rich Chinese men. And the rich Chinese men is kind of like, I don't really want a rich Chinese woman because of the attitude. You know, I'm kind of fit for, the average or below average woman in China. But there's like what, 60 to 80 million more men than women. And a lot of these women in China, they're going after the same men. And, these women are saying, hey, if you want to marry me and if you want to marry me, you're going to have a car. You're going to have to make a certain amount of money. You're going to have to buy a house. You're going to have to spend a lot of money putting down on this dowry. And then maybe I might give you sex. There were a lot of guys who were not in relationships when I was living in China. And there were guys who were in relationships that were still virgins because women in the relationships would dangle sex in front of the men's faces. I met a lot of guys who were in relationships for like 2, 3, 5 years. And when the relationship ended and they broke up, the men still said like, hey, I never even had a chance to have sex with her. She never gave me sex. I was in a relationship with this woman for 5 years and she wouldn't give me any sex. A lot of what you guys are complaining in America, it's way worse in some of these other countries, especially in China, South Korea. It's insane, right? So what does this mean? What does this mean for guys with passports or passport bros? This means that you claiming, hey, I'm done with Western women. I'm going to go to the East. Eastern women are either on the same type of time as Western women or a lot worse. All right. A lot of times, Eastern women get with guys like yourself, or they have sex with guys like you out of spite. All right. That's why when a lot of guys will come to me and be like, why would you recommend China, knowing, the social dynamic that's going on over there? Well, a lot of women, they would hook up with foreigners just out of spite to get back at Chinese men, right? A lot of them would hook up with foreigners, even though there were more than plenty of Chinese men to go around. And it came to drastic measures with people in public attacking foreign men and Chinese women for getting together, right? Some women would still get with foreign men just out of spite. I want a man that meets up with my expectations, that has a car, has a great job, makes all this money, that could do this, that, and the third for me, take me to my doctor's appointments, take me shopping when I need to, hold my purse. No, I'm good. No, thank you. Hold on real quick, man. Hold on. I'm in this hotel. Hold on. All right, sorry about that. So where was I? I need a man that can live up to this level of expectations that is unreachable. Knowing the economic climate over in China, this standard over here is unreachable. And these women will drag men in a relationship and dog them, dangling sex and the possibility of marriage and relationships in front of them. And the standards, like I mentioned before, the most expensive one out of all is buying a house. Houses in China, especially like in Shanghai, Beijing, they're over $1 million. And these houses, they're not like, residential homes that we're used to in America. We're talking apartments. We're talking apartments, 900 square foot apartments for over $1 million. Those are what's considered homes in China. So there's a lot more pressure that's put on Chinese men in China than men in America. And the average yearly income in China, let me look it up. Average yearly income for males in China. The average yearly salary for non-private China was around about 121,000 yen. UN, excuse me. So what is that? Let me do this real quick. So that's like the average yearly income for a Chinese man in America. Well, for a Chinese man in China is 17,000 US dollars a month, right? 17,000 US dollars. Average yearly income for males in South Korea. I did a whole special, especially I did a whole special on the Patreon page breaking down the debt crisis in South Korea. The average monthly salary for a male employee in South Korea is about 3,000 US dollars per month, right? That's fairly low considering the cost of living, right? These places where the expectations for men to be able to give women what they want, what they need, and provide families and put down on a huge dowry without them running off with your kids and your money, it's very, very expensive and it breaks men, right? So what does that mean for you as a passport bro? That means that you saying that you're leaving the West to go to the East because women are more traditional, that is that's cap. All right, that's a lie. That is a lie. As a matter of fact, the mindset in many cases in some of these countries is worse. Is worse. I saw an article where like Chinese men are trying to get up out of China and they're marrying and having families with foreign women in droves. They're having families with I'm gonna leave that alone. Russian women, Korean women, Japanese women, Thai women, Filipino women. They're like, look, I'd rather date somebody of a nationality that I don't particularly care for to get away from the abuse of Chinese women. And here you are, you dealing with somebody like that, somebody who has um disdain, hatred, right? Somebody with that sentiment they have towards their own men, they'll just deal with you out of spite to get back at their own men, and to get back at them for what? God knows what. I don't know. But a lot of people are looking at this as like, hey, this ain't even a good deal. They're looking at stuff like this as a terrible deal. They don't want to have anything to do with this. Like, I'm not going to fall for the banana in the tailpipe. I was watching, what's that guy's name? The Brazilian guy that lives in Japan, Paulo from Tokyo. Yesterday, he put out a video called "The Day in the Life of a Japanese Construction Worker," and me telling you this, you would envision in your mind a Japanese man out there, outside in the field doing construction. No, it was a fairly decent, cute Japanese woman that he was following around, right? And I said, oh, this is going to get the most views on the channel. I already know it. A fairly decent, cute looking Japanese woman who's a construction worker. This is going to get the most views. When I watched the video, it was sad because this woman was a single mother of 2 teenagers, right? I don't know how she became a single mother. I'm not going to assume that she chose to become a single mother, but, something might have happened to the father. Natural causes or a freak accident. Something might have happened to the father. I don't know. But I was also looking at the other side of this. I was also looking at the flip side of this. What if nothing did happen to the father? She just wanted to become a single mother. They were talking about how much she made and how difficult it was to become a single mother, to be a single mother, and how much it costs to take care of 2 teenagers, and how she's never around, never home for her kids. And, she's instructing them with notes and text messages. And then I'm seeing other videos of brothers being followed around. They showing their girl and their girl's kids, and it's his stepkids that he's claiming. I'm like, single motherhood in Asia is on a all-time spike. When I was living in Thailand, oh man, I saw single mothers all over the place. I just got approached, well, not approached physically, but online by a single mother Thai woman of 2 kids who lived out in the countryside in Thailand. The conversation was going for like 30, 40 minutes. And then I was like, oh, damn, I forgot to ask, do you have any kids? I found out she had 2 kids. I hung up the phone and blocked her. What does this mean for you? Because it might be a risk for you to travel abroad and to have a long-term relationship, whether it be long distance or not, with a woman overseas. Because a lot of these women out in the East, they're not even thinking about marriage. Not all, but a lot of them. Right? You sacrifice, excuse me, some people, they sacrifice their financial freedom moving out of America or moving out of Europe to go out east, to be closer to a woman and to raise a family out east. right? Thinking, okay, I'm going to gain a wife, a traditional wife, a family. I could build my own village, right? I'm going to get cooperation. A lot of guys move over east thinking they're going to get that and they get something worse. And now it's kind of like, damn, I gave up everything for this. I gave up my financial freedom for this. I took a hard financial hit for this. Then some guys, they go over to the east, bring a woman back, and then you still take a financial hit. It's still a high percentage taking a financial hit, bringing a woman back, losing all your shit to a foreigner. They can't even get people to come together over there, even if they paid them. That's what this message is saying. We can't even get these people to get along and get married, have kids, and boost the economy by having families, which is the base of economics, is family, right? We can't even get these two people to come together and 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 have a family and have these two get together and get along, even if we paid them. That's the message they're sending out to people. So this is why I'm not totally against tricking. I've never tricked before, but I'm not against tricking. You go to some of these countries, you go to the red light district, wherever it's safe, and say, how much? Is it legal over here? Yes. How much? All right, here you go. Let me have my 20, 30 minutes and be gone. It's just that it still amazes me when I see these groups, these passport bureau groups, still talking about, oh, these women in the West, F these women in the West, the West, the West, the West. It's going on in the East too. They can't get their own use to get along and come together with their own women, even if they paid them. And 9 times out of 10, the issue lies with the women, from what I'm seeing. I'm gonna have to do a separate live stream to play this interview from China. I mean, I used to live in China, but I want you to hear it yourself. Where, I mean, to get married, buy a home, drop a whole bunch of money on a dowry, meaning, the dowry is, it could either be in gold or money. A lot of times it's in gold and it's worth this much money. So, like, if you slip up with your word and your promise to your wife, she could leave you and be able to cash in on the dowry and be able to take care of herself and, invest that money into a home or a car and be able to raise the kids, right? And in many cases, you know, it doesn't even need to come to that. It's all about cooperation and women knowing their role, because a lot of these women are asking men to do traditional roles, to go above and beyond, to do expensive traditional roles, and then you have non-traditional women out here. And it seems like the country doesn't really want to target the root of all this. It's just like, hey, here's some money. Maybe that'll make everything much better. Maybe that'll put a band-aid over it and you guys can come together and fix things. No. No. Ooh, look, I got me some money. All right, let's have kids. Bye-bye. Women leaves with the 38,000. What else? What else are they offering? $640 each to match. $1,200 each if their families meet. $24,000 if they marry. $36,000 towards a house, or $906 per month, $960 per month in rent for 5 years, $75,000 in child bonuses. So you got to bribe your people with money in order to get along with each other. Excuse me. That's insane to me. All right, I'm going to end this live stream right here. My voice is going out. The government of Asian countries are definitely putting a Band-Aid on the issue instead of a tourniquet. Yeah. Yeah. But this is what I'm trying to show you guys. Is don't let somebody with a passport tell you, oh, I'm done with Western women. I'm going to come over here and do this. Travel because you want to. Travel because you're like, hey, look, I'm going to pay a little bit to have my legal fund, and then I'm going to come back in a safe country and a safe environment. Men talking about they going someplace to look for wives, man. Look at this. What does this tell you right here? What does this tell you? Does this right here say that, hey, there's plenty of wives over here that are cooperative, traditional? No. This says that the women in these countries are very uncooperative, and we got to pay them money to cooperate. That's what that headline is saying right there. That's what the message is saying. If you could read in between the lines. All right. So I'm over and I'm out. You guys take care. I'll see you guys on the next live stream. Peace.